America's Kurdish allies alone in their fight against ISIS and alone to defend against Turkey. The move came after President Trump had a phone call with Turkey's president. Tonight, some Senate Republicans calling it a betrayal. And it comes just weeks after our reporting here on the ground, the fight against ISIS right now, and our access to prisons in Syria with thousands of ISIS fighters. If the U.S. pulls out, who makes sure those ISIS fighters aren't freed? Martha Raddatz standing by. Also tonight, President Trump facing a second whistleblower now, a new person coming forward. And the Republicans who now claim President Trump was simply joking when he also asked China to investigate Joe Biden. Security breaches tonight at two major airports in America. How was a passenger able to board without an ID or boarding pass? And the other case, a man arrested. 8 newborn babies coming down with a deadly bacteria. The hospital unable to save 3 of them. The mayor of Dallas tonight urging caution after a key witness in the Amber Guyger murder trial is shot and killed. And tonight, what the judge in the case is now saying about this moment when she hugged the convicted officer, too. The American woman, a diplomat fleeing the UK after authorities say she killed a teenager while driving on the wrong side of the road. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek, why he regrets going public with his cancer, and the moment we didn't see, what he's telling his children now. It made us smile.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here to start another week. And we begin tonight with President Trump and the new backlash this evening after his sudden decision to withdraw U.S. troops from a key border area of Syria. Abandoning Kurdish soldiers, our allies who fought side by side with the U.S. to defeat ISIS and who now hold thousands of ISIS prisoners. We were on the ground on the front lines in Iraq near the Syrian border just weeks ago. The fight against ISIS fighters still raging. And we were given access to ISIS prisons in Syria with U.S. troops leaving. Who helps the Kurds keep watch over those prisoners? Even some Republicans tonight calling this a betrayal. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leading us off.
Tonight, the first images of American forces withdrawing from positions in northern Syria. This U.S. post now a ghost town after orders from President Trump to leave behind the Kurdish forces we have long relied on to battle ISIS, instead siding with Turkey.
Why are you siding with an authoritarian leader and not our Kurdish allies?
Well, I'm not siding with anybody. We've been in Syria for many years. You know, Syria was supposed to be a short-term hit. Just a very short-term hit, and we were supposed to be in and out. We want to bring our troops back home.
The U.S.-backed Syrian Kurds have lost thousands of soldiers in that fight. Just a year ago, President Trump saying he would not forget their sacrifice.
They fought with us. They died with us. But they're great people. And we have not forget. We don't forget. I don't forget.
But now the president is abandoning them, essentially giving the green light to Turkey to clear the Kurds out of northern Syria. Trump making that decision after a call from Turkey's president, who considers the Kurds terrorist insurgents. Just weeks ago, David was on the front lines with U.S. forces in Iraq, not far from the Syrian border, where the fight against ISIS is still very much alive. ABC News obtaining images of a strike on ISIS fighters.
This is where they retreated to.
We found them
Right.
because they got up and moved. They went over to another location to pull some weapons out. When they went back into their bed down location, then we were able to go ahead and conduct a strike on them.
Without the Kurds, the Pentagon fears a resurgence of ISIS. The refugee camps in Syria are also under Kurdish control, filled with ISIS fighters, where some children now celebrate the ISIS flag.
ISIS flags inside that camp.
That's right, raising ISIS flag. Children were dancing around the flagpole.
It's a legitimate concern that this is becoming a breeding ground.
Absolutely.
Tonight, the president's move sparking anger on Capitol Hill, including from some of the president's strongest supporters. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying it would increase the risk that ISIS and other terrorist groups regroup. Lindsey Graham calling Trump's decision irresponsible.
If we abandon them, good luck getting anybody to help America in the future with radical Islam, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS.
And former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley saying of the Kurds, leaving them to die is a big mistake. President Trump, aware of growing concern, is also warning Turkey tonight in a tweet, saying that if Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, consider to be off limits, I will totally destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey.
And so let's get to Martha Raddatz with us live tonight. Martha, you and I were talking about those prisons. ABC News was given access in Syria where they hold thousands of ISIS fighters. And you'll remember one fighter who told us if he was released, he would rejoin ISIS and kill Americans. And Martha, your military sources telling you what they told me, that they're very concerned about those prisoners now guarded by the Kurds?
They are, David. There is great concern about those ISIS prisons. A senior official telling me that the fear is that some of those 11,000 prisoners could escape and flood the surrounding areas or target the West. There's also concern tonight about withdrawal. One senior official telling me there is initial planning to withdraw all U.S. forces within 30 days, David, but that could change.
30 days. All right, Martha Raddatz leading us off tonight. Martha, thank you. And while the president is taking significant heat from key Republicans on this sudden move on Syria, many of those same names defending him on the Ukraine call. And many saying the president was simply joking when he asked China to investigate Joe Biden, too. And tonight, new subpoenas now, including the Department of Defense in the impeachment inquiry. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega now.
Facing allegations from a second whistleblower, today a defiant President Trump blasted Democrats and their impeachment inquiry.
The impeachment inquiry is a scam.
ABC News has learned the attorney who represents the original whistleblower is now also representing a second person, a member of the intelligence community who claims to have firsthand information about the president's efforts to push Ukraine to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden. The White House has released a summary of the president's phone call with the president of Ukraine, President Trump saying, "I would like you to do us a favor," later asking for an investigation into Biden.
Almost everybody that read it said it's either perfect or really very good, but it's a very normal, nice conversation.
Today, Ohio Senator Rob Portman became the latest Republican to publicly criticize President Trump. Portman saying the president should not have raised the Biden issue on that call, period. It's not appropriate for a president to engage a foreign government in an investigation of a political opponent. President Trump has also publicly called on China to investigate Biden. Some of his allies insist he was not being serious.
The president asked China to investigate.
We know they're not, George. Come on.
Why can't you answer yes or no? Do you think it's appropriate?
I don't, because I don't think that's what he did. I don't think that's what he did.
So, but it was right there on camera.
Still, other Republicans unconvinced.
I doubt if the China comment was serious, to tell you the truth.
Here's what the president said at the White House just last week.
China should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine. I haven't, but it's certainly something we can start thinking about.
Cecilia Vega with us live tonight from the White House. And Cecilia, what does the White House say about all this? Was the president joking when he asked China to investigate Biden?
David, we've been asking repeatedly. So far, no comment from aides here. The president was just asked about this. Also, he's not commenting either. But tonight back on Capitol Hill, the focus is on that first whistleblower. Democrats are planning to take extraordinary steps to protect this person's identity when they meet. They're talking about obscuring voice and appearance, possibly having congressional aides conduct the interview without members of Congress. David, Democrats say they're worried that Republican allies of this president might try to reveal the person's identity.
All right, Cecilia Vega starting another week at her post at the White House. Cecilia, thank you. Next tonight, to other news, and authorities reporting 2 security breaches at 2 different airports in Florida. A woman in Orlando allegedly getting by TSA and the flight crew to board a plane without ID or a boarding pass. And in Miami tonight, a passenger bypassing the gate agent has now been detained. ABC's David Curley covers aviation.
This is the woman authorities say got through security and onto a jet without a ticket, finally escorted off after a 45-minute standoff.
Now, I know the protocol of flight attendant.
The woman undetected until Jenny Clemens boarded the Delta flight from Orlando to Atlanta and found the woman in her seat.
She just said, "I'm not moving."
Turns out, according to the TSA, she was able to sneak past the TSA officer checking IDs and boarding passes. She was screened, but then snuck by the Delta gate agent too. When confronted, she told a flight attendant she threw away her boarding pass and suggested a selfie on her phone was her ID.
I need a government ID. Okay, well, I'm showing you a picture right now. That's not a government ID. This is just as good.
48 hours later, this morning in Miami, authorities say another person blowing past a gate agent. This man taken into custody and hospitalized. It's unclear what the motive was for either person and whether either of them will be charged with a crime. David
Curley with us tonight. Thank you. And next to a hospital mystery this evening, the deadly outbreak of bacteria at a Pennsylvania hospital. 8 newborns in the neonatal intensive care unit infected. They were unable to save 3 of the babies. And what's now being done tonight? Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
A battle tonight inside this Pennsylvania hospital to eradicate a deadly infection in its neonatal intensive care unit after it claimed 3 fragile lives.
Sadly, 3 infants have died. Their deaths may have been a result of the infection complicating an already vulnerable state. Those infants were extremely premature.
It's called Pseudomonas, a very common bacteria which is often harmless and in hospitals can be spread through tubing or equipment.
It's really too soon to say exactly where the organism is coming from, but what we have, the information that we have so far suggests that it's someplace outside of the neonatal intensive care unit.
A total of 8 babies, all born prematurely, have contracted the waterborne bacterial infection in the hospital. 4 have already recovered, and 1 is still being treated with antibiotics.
The Geisinger Medical Center is temporarily sending mothers who are likely to deliver prematurely and infants born at less than 32 weeks to other regional hospitals. They also say that they are taking every precaution, including extra cleanings, even though they said they did not find the organism present on any surfaces in the hospital.
We're thinking about all those families.
Certainly are.
Lindsay, thank you. Now to the Dallas mayor tonight, urging calm there after the mysterious murder of a key witness in the trial of that former Dallas police officer convicted of murdering her neighbor. Joshua Brown lived in that same apartment building, and his emotional testimony actually helped convict Amber Guyger. So who killed him and why? ABC's Marcus Moore from Dallas tonight.
Tonight, the mayor of Dallas urging the public to refrain from speculating about the mysterious murder of Joshua Brown, a key witness at the Amber Guyger trial. The former officer convicted of murder after she says she entered a neighbor's apartment thinking it was hers and shot him to death. Brown himself found dead Friday night, shot multiple times in the parking lot of his new apartment complex.
I had heard pow, 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 pop, pop, pop.
Brown lived across the hall from Botham Jean and disputed this claim during the trial.
I yelled at him. It's like, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
Brown testified he never heard that warning.
Do you recall ever hearing someone say, hey, put your hands up at a loud tone?
No, ma'am.
Or show me your hands?
No, ma'am.
But Brown, no stranger to gun violence. Last year, he was wounded, his friend murdered outside a strip club. His family says he was a reluctant witness in the Guyger case and had been concerned about testifying so publicly.
Anytime someone is killed under mysterious circumstances, you have to look at their whole life to see who might have something out against them.
Police so far identifying no suspects.
Marcus Moore, who's been on this case from the beginning, and another headline on this case from Dallas tonight. We're also hearing from the judge in the trial. I know, Marcus, she's now defending herself tonight after she hugged the officer, too, in that courtroom.
Yeah, David, the hug from the judge came after Botham Jean's brother embraced Guyger in the middle of that courtroom. The judge says after that moving moment, Guyger asked her for a hug, too. She believes that her actions were appropriate as the trial was over, and Guyger was asking for forgiveness. David.
Marcus Moore, again tonight. Thank you. Next, the storm front with heavy rain causing flash flooding in the center of the country tonight and now headed east. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee tracking it all. Ginger, good evening.
David, the rain has just started here. It'll blow through tonight, and our attention turns to that big snowstorm, up to 16 inches possible in Montana. We're talking about 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts that'll bring blowing snow and visibility to near zero, say on I-15 or I-94. That's tomorrow night through Wednesday in Montana, but this front is big, and it slips all the way to, say, North Dakota, where Grand Forks usually gets 1.5 inches of snow in the month of October. They could quadruple that with just this storm. It goes the snow all the way down to Denver, Rapid City, and the cold, David, goes all the way to Houston by the weekend. There, it will be welcome.
Ginger Zee tonight. Thank you, Ginger. We turn now to the outrage in the UK tonight over an American diplomat who authorities say killed a teenager on a motorcycle while she was driving on the wrong side of the road. Here's ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell now.
Tonight, growing anger in Britain over the fatal car crash that killed 19-year-old Harry Dunn after the wife of a US diplomat suspected of being involved fled the country, now claiming diplomatic immunity.
We're just utterly